And welcome back to The Wrap. It's potluck time. This is the part of the show where we go around the table and share our absolute favorite stories of the day. Jane Velez Mitchell, you are first.
I am fuming about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is this big trade deal that really isn't getting the attention it deserves. It is a corporate coup d'etat, is how it was described in one newspaper report, and I think that's a great way of putting it. It's going to really massively expand the power of big corporations at the expense of mom-and-pop capitalism, at the expense of the environment, at the expense of animals trapped in factory farms. This is bad for the planet and it's bad for people. Do we really want to live in a world where there are 200 stores and everybody's working for them and shopping at them? Already in New York City, the only thing you see are Starbucks, banks, and drugstores. I mean, really, we are just pushing out mom and pop shops, and I think it's a travesty. And everybody should stand up and say this shouldn't be shrouded in secrecy. The American people have a right to know what's going on with these trade deals.
I got a question. How do you know it's all that?
Well, because I've been reading a lot of articles.
How do they know?
Well, listen, if you have nothing to hide, then let everybody know.
No, that's not my question. I write those articles, right? And I happen to know that the administration has told nobody what's in this thing, which I think is insane, except that they briefed Congress on the specific condition that it's classified. Congress is not allowed to tell us what's in it. So I don't know if I'm for it or against it.
Let me say this.
Because nobody knows what's in it.
Just to respond to you, I was watching a congressional hearing where they were pushing this through. The senators were pushing this through and discouraging any discussion.
Wait.
Wait
Let's not mislead. They weren't pushing through the deal. They were pushing through the authority to the president. No, they're pushing through the authority where the president can go negotiate it, and it'll go through or not go through on an up or down vote, no amendments. It's called fast tracking.
Right.
Nobody's voted on any deal yet because there is no deal.
Jane, before you respond, do you want to go grab a drink and we'll let these two? Yeah. Okay.
Actually, Heather's mother's here today, so we can go hang out.
Okay.
I'll grab a drink.
Okay. No, I'm only kidding.
No.
It's funny that you got poor Heather's just in the middle of this tennis match.
Like this, but you know, I love that you're upset about the fact that there's a
don't
deal
like that.
going
It's a
on.
secret.
Just like something else that I didn't like was a secret.
Which one?
The Iran deal. It's the exact
I didn't like
same
that
deal.
it was secret
I mean,
either.
this is, I don't understand enough about this because there's not enough to read for me to understand it.
'cause it's
but it's
classified.
consistent with this administration keeping
It's
secrets.
not okay. I agree with that. It's not okay. We can handle it. Now, here's what's going to happen. This deal is going to be about 4,000 pages long, and they're going to finish the deal. Then they're going to let it out. I'm the one who has to read 4,000 pages in a week. Right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They're rigging it to go through. And everything you just said may, in fact, be right. I know Elizabeth Warren's no big fan of this.
Yeah.
But it may not be, and I don't know, because they won't let us see it.
Well, the reason I sense that it's very, very bad for the environment, aside from those who said it, is that when I was listening to the senators, they kept talking about how this would be great for big ag. And, you know, we don't need to export our bad habits to the rest of the world. We're already suffering from obesity, high cholesterol, heart disease, America's #1 killer, meat production destroying the environment. So let's just expand and get the rest of the world hooked on our bad habits.
Just say final words on it. The weird part is the president is supportive of this, and the Republicans are supportive of it. It's the Democrats who are against it.
From a political perspective, any chance this gets Elizabeth Warren upset enough to change her mind?
Maybe. I've got another scenario where that can happen. It's a whole different thing. If Hillary keeps getting beat like this, by the end of the summer, she could be toast. That's when Elizabeth Warren could step in, knowing she won't win the general election, but she'll be a representative.
Maybe.
She can't win.
No, I don't think she can win either.
But you think that she knows she can't win?
She's not stupid, if anything. I mean, this is a brilliant woman. She knows that that's why she isn't running. She's not going to win a general election. She would be a great standard bearer if you want to make a great point on behalf of the Democrats, something the Republicans have done for years and lose because of it. But no, I don't believe she can win a general election. I admire her immensely, but I don't think she's where America is.
Okay, because Barack Obama won, and
that's 8 years ago.
Right, no, I understand that.
And she's perceived far more to the left than Barack Obama.
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Well, she is.
Oh, I agree with that. But the message about Wall Street is too big and too greedy and
well, listen,
the
I'd love to be
populist
wrong
message.
if she ends up running. Obviously, I'd love to see her win, but I just. My job is not to root. My job is to analyze, and I don't see it happening.
I I absolutely root.
Are
I
you
root
rooting for Warren?
We know who you're
I'm rooting for entertainment, and I've said that from the
Right,
beginning.
right.
You give me Elizabeth Warren versus Ted Cruz, and we got a
And
party.
we got a party.
Or even Elizabeth Warren versus Hillary Clinton in the primary. You've got a
That would be
really
fun.
interesting conversation. It's not going to happen. But I do think this issue, this Trans-Pacific Partnership, is
It could. I
is
understand
enough
your
to
point.
get her motivated to
She
start
is
to
really
change
not
her
happy with
mind.
it.
Yeah.
All right, I take back what I'm rooting for. I would rather have. You're right. Warren Clinton
Just to see what they do to
would be like the NFC Championship game. Like it's
Right.
not the Super Bowl.
Right, but they're
But
together
boy,
there.
it's just
It's
as
a great
good,
NFC
right? Because
championship.
Hillary wouldn't know what to do with her, and she would outspend her in the end and probably win, but it would just beat the heck out of her,
They would
right?
both get some scratches.
Yeah. All right, get her in the race, Rick. You got pull. Anyway, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we have more potluck, including mine. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax. Welcome back to the Daily Wrap. Hello, FCC. I'm Joe Concha.
Didn't get through.
I'm sure it didn't. And if you're just joining us, we will see you. We're in the middle of our potluck.
I
We
may
share-
not be here, however.
Right. We're sharing our favorite stories of the day. Expletive-free. Heather Hansen, you're next.
Yes. There is a man on trial, a 93-year-old man, who is on trial currently in Germany for his role in Auschwitz. He was an accountant type while he was in Auschwitz and served there for a number of years and saw atrocities that he is now testifying to that are beyond explanation. It's just horrible what he's saying, horrible what happened there, obviously. He then became a prisoner of war because he served in the front lines, and then he returned to Germany and lived his life. However, he received a copy of a book called The Auschwitz Lie, which was written by one of the Holocaust deniers. And in response to reading that book, he felt he had to come forward and speak and talk about what he saw in Auschwitz and the fact that it actually did happen. That is therefore how he ended up on trial. I found it so interesting that what he is on trial for, he never committed any of the atrocities, he never beat anyone, he never killed anyone. He is on trial simply for not speaking up at the time, for not doing something to stop it. That in and of itself is an interesting quagmire, I think. Add to that the fact that he is on trial because he did speak up. Otherwise, he never would have been captured. He spoke up because he could not have people denying the Holocaust. It brings to mind for me the discussion we often have at this table about the way that our president describes radical Islam terrorism. And it underscores for me the importance of these words and the importance of speaking up, because had he spoken up back then, I don't know that anything would have been any different. But had he not spoken up now, I do think that it is an important thing that he's coming forward and saying it is not enough. I must speak so that this is remembered for what it was. And I think that when we say what difference does it make what we call it, this is a good answer to that question.
Yeah. That's right.
Brad Hirschfield actually
Yeah, we
spoke
talked
about this
about it
last
last
night.
night.
Okay.
I don't quite know why they have this man on trial. I mean, obviously he participated in a ghastly thing, but you know, what would have happened to him if he had spoken up? Let's be realistic about it. He would have been sent to the front lines, or he would have been put in with the people that were being kept in Auschwitz
I think the
and
latter would have
killed.
happened, quite
Right.
frankly.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he could do anything. And
No
you
doubt
know.
about it. And the trial itself is just fascinating. I was saying to my mom that you forget that there are so many people still alive
Yeah.
who went through
Well,
that.
that's the advantage of him, is that he can remind people, especially
that's right.
Holocaust
The only
deniers,
right.
that he was
thing
there.
that is required for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing.
Right.
And so I think it's a cautionary tale that when we see evil today, even evil that's not acknowledged as evil, like I believe intensive confinement of factory farm animals, that we speak up, because one day it will be officially recognized as evil, and they'll look back at everybody who stood as bystanders and said it was okay and say, shame on you.
The question is, if you speak up in this case, you would have been
it's your
killed.
death sentence,
Right.
Yeah, more or less. Brad did bring up, though, last night that he did volunteer to be in the SS, and
Yeah.
it is documented. He said, "I agree with everything that they're doing."
Right.
So,
And
but
he
then
also
again, he's
tried to
92.
transfer- He also tried to transfer 2 times. But the bigger thing is just this idea of speaking. You know, he didn't speak at the time. He's speaking up now. And do we need to speak up more often for Christians and what's going on today?
You know, I stood outside the Anne Frank Museum and I looked at this beautiful Amsterdam canal and I thought, how could people who created all this beauty and everything so perfect be the same people who stood by when these atrocities were happening, when people were being dragged from attics to their death.
And on that note, we'll have to leave it there because we're stepping on my time. A slightly lighter topic, maybe not a lighter topic. A CNBC report says that 1/3 of Americans, Rick, only have less than $1,000 saved for their retirement. This is horrifying to me. And I'm thinking again, is this part of a problem with our educational system, where we're not concentrating on the right things, where there should be a mandatory class in high school and certainly in college, I don't care what your major is, okay, this is how you save for when you get older. And it sounds simple, but it appears that no one's really getting it. They don't understand how 401ks work, right, as far as matching. If they take it out, there's going to be big taxes put on it and so on. And, you know, the bottom line is, when you think about it, if life expectancy now is somewhere around like 80, 81,
right,
and you retire at 65, right, let's say by the time you get to 65, you're going to need 20 years of money, $50,000 a year. You need $1 million just to survive.
Well,
and there's a third of Americans only have $1,000.
But they have Social Security. Let's not forget that.
Well,
Hopefully
people our
very
age
much.
may not.
It'll be around.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right in what you're saying. But we have to, you're right, education is part of it, but there's another part you can't deny. So many Americans today are left to scramble just to pay their current bills. They don't have any money left
Or
over.
spending what they don't have and
Well,
then
there is
the
some
interest
of
on their
that.
credit cards.
There is some
Yeah.
of
We
that.
have 10 seconds.
We
Go ahead.
live in a dictogenic society where everybody's encouraged to buy, so that big corporations can get richer and more powerful while they squander their money that they should be saving.
And on that note, that's all the time we have for our potluck tonight, and a great one it was. When we come back, it's time for Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax.